Event of the Championships of 1998. Dean Mercer, Thirroul, Trevor Hendy, Surfers Paradise, Nathan Meyer, Surfers Paradise, Darren Mercer from Thirroul, Stephen Pullen, Alexandra Headlands, Craig Hackett from Northcliffe, Stephen King from Tugun. Rhys Drury from Austinmere, New South Wales, Stephen Meredith from Mooloolaba, Adrian Tobin, Swansea Belmont, Kane Husa Maroubra, Chris Wood from Surfers Paradise, Landara Coogee, Stephen Short from the Maroochydore Club. And what a lineup, eh? What a lineup of talent. Look at the crowd. They are jam-packed in here, and they have been right throughout these championships and for the Masters. It's been a record crowd and a record entry list.
Keeps growing, keeps getting bigger. Stephen Short, Maroochy. We've got clubs from all around Australia here, Daryl, and these guys have made no secret that anyone can win this. Chris Wood, at the back of Chris Wood, reigning Queensland champion, beat a lot of the big names in the Queensland titles. Kane Husener, watch him in the swim.
Swansea Belmont, that's Adrian Tobin. That's the Mooloolaba hat.
Stephen Meredith.
Austinmere cap. Tugun.
Stephen King. Won the board already. Craig Hackett, watch him in the swim. Steve Pullen, watch him in the swim. Gee, what a field.
We talked about that Austinmere cap, Rhys Drury, you know. I mean,
Nathan Meyer.
He's been very competitive right through here. Trevor Hendy.
Now, I've just counted up in the official record of Australian titles. These three guys on the end, Darren Mercer, Dean Mercer and Trevor Hendy, since 1987 have won every Ironman except 1992 when Guy Andrews came in and won.
Pretty amazing. Dean Mercer, the little bloke, nearest to you on camera there, he only just struggled to get into this. I mean, he just qualified. Darren Mercer has been in good form. That's little Dino there. Just watch his little legs pump. He'll go. And Trevor Hendy just stuck in too, and that's all you've got to do. And have a look at the crowd. They're jam-packed in here for the final event today. But the Mercers, they can have an ordinary summer, but they always are strong at the Australian Championships. That applies to a lot of the competitors, but more so with them.
Well, they came to the Queensland State titles, Daryl, about 3 weeks ago. It was opened up so anyone could go in it. They came up, didn't perform anywhere near expectations, but I mean, this is it for these guys. I mean, this is the culmination of 12 months of work, and it all comes down to about a 10-minute race. Trevor
Hendy, of course, you know, always a big performer in the big events, and we've seen Clint Eastwood do it on the ski. They seem to be able to lift that extra gear.
I'm sure Clint would appreciate being called Clint Eastwood. It was actually
Clint Eastwood.
He probably can't act very well, but gee, he can paddle a ski.
It's been a long day. Clint Eastwood, I won't live that down for a while. Sorry, Clint. All right, lined up, set to go. This is it, the final event from Kurrawa Beach, the Open Ironman final. And gee, here's some talent here, let me tell you. The surf will play its part, but as Mark Rayburn has said so many times, cream always rises to the top, and it's happened again.
Well, we saw this happen in the double skis. While they're waiting for a fair start, the guys are creeping forward just a little bit, so the starters just pulled them back to make it an even start.
Yeah, well, it's pretty tough to try and get them all on and get them over this bank. We've got Grant Kenny, the man who won the double, of course, as a junior and a senior. He's out there on a surf ski. We'll be talking to him, and away they go now. They're racing now. Look at the paddle starting to flash as Dean Mercer, closest to us, starts to go. Right beside him is Kane Huster. Now the power goes down as they head out toward the break. Northcliffe cap starting to figure already there. Slams over that little shore break.
Craig Hackett leading the way on the ski. Now, Craig, I've said this earlier, we've seen him in previous Australian, just sneaks over that. Everyone else gets hit, slows their momentum down a bit. Craig Hackett has led on 2 previous Ironman. He's led 2 of the 3 legs to be knocked off in the 3rd leg. I wish him well.
Steve Pullen there too from the Alexandra Headlands Club, right in beside him.
Well, with the swim coming up for Craig Hackett, you want to think that he can move into a lead, but we've seen it happen time and time again over the weekend. With these conditions, you just can never tell to the end.
Dean Mercer now starts to up the ratings, you can see, and there's Darren. He's way back. He's still in the break there. Look at that. That's Woods also from Surfers Paradise. Landara from Coogee getting slammed away. I thought that was the Thirroul cap. Gee, they're close. One's white with blue and one's sky blue with blue.
Yeah, very close. Now, again, guys working their way out through the breaks, about 250 metres out to sea. And this is where the hard work's to be done. They're getting wash riding off the back. Craig's doing most of the work, but gee, it's still very, very close.
Grant Kenny.
Yeah, plenty of pace on the front. Craig Hackett, as you say, is taking it out. Dean Mercer has been sitting on his left side wash. Right behind him, Steve Pullen, Trevor Hendy playing a very tactical race early up. Right behind him, both Darren Mercer and Nathan Meyer, and closely followed by Stephen Meredith of Mooloolaba. So there's plenty of quality up the front. I like the look of Craig Hackett at the moment. I tell you what, he's held off pretty well so far, and if he can keep himself on a reasonable sort of a chop on the way in with that swim leg to follow, that could set himself up for his best possible shot.
Dean Mercer right round the outside now as he goes and takes the lead away, and here's Pullen too. He starts to make a move on the inside as they head for the last can. Look at this, flashing blades as they come through. That's Mercer. That's Pullen on the inside. There's Hackett. Houston. Oh, and the big man there too.
The big man, Trevor. I mean, but your leading two are also very good swimmers. Kane Houston in about 7th or 8th. Look at them spread. Look at the runs being chased top of the screen.
Look at Meredith. Stephen Meredith from Mooloolaba pushing hard to get on that wave.
And also happened with Dean Mercer. Dean Mercer's pulled a wave, already running on the top of it now. He runs down the face. Here they come, the chasers. But Mercer's on the wave in front. That'll give him the little breather. He looks back and he knows time to suck up a bit of air now. Rides it down, can't afford to make a mistake. Right in behind him though, we see Trevor Hendy. And Steve Pullen is there. It's going to suck up on the bank. Sucking. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. 7 of them. And Dean Mercer's got sideways on the beach. That's not going to help him. Now here's Houston. Houston comes in. He says, I'll join in a bit of this action.
Meredith's off the back. It's now down to Houston. Now Dino also had a bit of trouble at the front. These guys may well catch him on the next wave. Dino had a bit of trouble. He'll get up first. He's running.
Well, he had a long way to run along the beach. These guys have taken a slightly better line. The lead isn't as big as you think, because here comes Steve Pullen right now, right behind Dean Mercer. Trevor Hendy there.
No, Nathan Meyer's in 2 and is going well. He's been crook all week. He's had wisdom tooth problems. If he can get up in this, it'll be an unbelievable effort. But look at this pack. I mean, the quality of these in swimming is unbelievable.
Well, what about this? You've got Houston, you've got Hendy, you've got Darren Mercer, Dean Mercer. Wow. Nathan Meyer, what a back up the front.
Nathan Meyer in January won the world titles. Between him and Trevor, they've won the past 5 world titles. The guys have all run up again. We've seen now, this is them up here. This is them up here, and what they've done is run up. The reason they've done that, we mentioned it before, is that when they get out around this area, there's a bank where you can push off and work through. The sweep is nowhere near as great. There's been a sweep going this way yesterday. That's faded away. But right now, they'll be trying to get out around this bank, do the pushing off, grab the bottom and push up. Keep in mind, they've got to go over to that area up there. But they're doing it because they believe there's a bigger advantage in jumping on that bank.
Well, the best swimmer in the field has just gone into the water, and that was Craig Hackett. Now, as we see already, Nathan Meyer going into some nice strokes there. Now, Dino Mercer almost missed the final, so I think he's given himself enough of a scare that during this 120-metre swim and the 170-metre board paddle, they're really going to be working. Darren and Dean.
Look who's right behind him. Darren Mercer, his brother too. So he's well placed. Kane Houston's still there waiting over the bank. They're all up and running. You can see the sand swelling around there because it's coming right off this bank. Waves are sucking up. Waves out to sea. They've still got probably 4 or 5 to get through before they hit that green water. But Pullen now, Steve Pullen starts to work in the water. We picked him as a dark horse yesterday.
We did, and we called him this morning too. I think, Nicole, you'd picked him as well. Speaking to Terry Buck yesterday, and Terry's a very well-respected coach in Sydney. He said in his view, Pullen's the dark horse. Very, very good swimmer, trains on the Sunshine Coast. One of the very few competitors in this whole event that works full-time. He's a carpenter, works with Terry McClarty on the Sunshine Coast.
Well, a lot of people were talking about him this morning on the beach, so I think that was one of the reasons why I tipped him, because everybody was talking. As we say that now, Nathan Meyer is taking a lead on this swim leg, and looks like Kane Houston are moving into second, but they have to locate these boys and make sure they're on the correct line.
Nathan Meyer's opened up the petrol valves now, decided to make a break for it. Grant Kenny, they're heading for you. It's Nathan Meyer. The Mercers are there. Houston's there. Wow, it's a quality field up front.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's typical of this sort of race. I mean, it's a quality field generally, and you know, we'll see it change. We had a different pack leading the ski. Now we got a different pack in the swim. We may well see some different faces slide up there in the board leg just because of these sea conditions. It's not going to play much of an effect on them, as we've already seen coming out in the swim leg. The swim, the big difference can be going home, because on a board or ski, if you're left in no man's land a little bit, you can pick up a little chop on the body swimming. If it's not a wave, and somebody else is on a wave, then you're just left there. And certainly Steve Pullen and Nathan Meyer are going at it pretty heavy right at the moment. In fact, as I look now, I can see Nathan Meyer has just taken over a lead. It looks like Houston has now up on his shoulder. So there's 3 of them bunched up at the lead. Gee, this is a great race.
Yeah, well, Eustace made a big move on Meyer then. He sort of changed direction. Meyer went with him, and they're really side by side, flailing arms together. So that's a real battle going on now to see who's going to lead him round the can.
Yeah, well, it'll be, from where I sit, it'll be Husner. Steve Pullen's on the inside for the turn. Nathan Meyer now on Husner's feet, so he's going to take the opportunity to rest up a little bit. Dean Mercer still battling away right on Nathan Meyer's feet. So as they turn the first can, it's Husner, Pullen, Meyer and Dean Mercer, and then about 3 body lengths back to Darren Mercer.
Well, Kane Husner looks like he's stroking very, very well. I thought going out to the cans that he looked like he was getting a better hold of the water than Nathan Meyer or Steve Pullen. So he's holding the water very well. And as I thought that, he moved into first place. So he's stroking really well.
Certainly is. And I mean, he'll get around 4 minutes, about 2 minutes for a 200 freestyle, even time, about 4 minutes for a 400 freestyle. Another one of the guys that works full time. That's interesting. The 2 leaders, as opposed to the rest of the field that are professional athletes and train full time, these 2 guys work and fit their training around it, and whatever they're doing it right.
And you can see the swell line there as it hits the cans there, and it's just lifting up, and there it is there, the waves are hoping to get. And Grant Kenny, you've said many times, that's not what you want to feel. You want them to come in about a minute's time.
Yeah, that's right. On this full tide, you really don't want the set early in the swim home, because it means you're probably going to have to swim all the way. The big danger then too is that when you're 3/4 of the way in, the tail enders pick up a swell from out the back and bring them right up and undo all that great work you've done for yourself. But I tell you what, Kane Husner is just powering. He's really pushing hard. He's opened up about a 3 or 4 body length lead, and really looking solid at this stage of the game.
All right, GK, we'll leave you there just for the second now as they make their way into the drop area. We'll have a look out our commentary window. There's only some small lumps around. They don't need much to get onto. And remember, these waves will suck up onto the bank. But at the moment, no assistance inside.
I think Trevor Hendy's sitting in around about 6. So for someone that hasn't done very much swimming work, he's doing very well going into one of his best legs in the ski.
Yeah, well, when you say not doing much swimming, the most swimming Trevor's done in about the past 6 months was the swimming he's been doing in the Ironman heats and semis. He just hasn't swum at all. In wave territory now.
Okay, let's see what happens now, because those little waves will jack up on this sandbank. Houston knows that if he can just crack a wave, a bit of breathing space. There's the man, Hendy now, powering his way through the surf. He's just an enormous frame, this guy. And I just love competing. He's given so much to so many people with his enormous talents. The winningest man, and there we go, Steve Pullen is, I think. Pullen's on. It's definitely Pullen. There's another cap coming down. Is that Marouvra's cap? It is. So Houston and Pullen, they've got the wave at the moment. They're both off. So now it becomes a swim and a wade and a porpoise again. But Steve Pullen's got himself into the position he wanted. Alexandra Headlands. He's a great story, originally from Port Macquarie.
Yeah, talking to his parents last night, he joined the Nippers at age 5. Well, his dad took him down and said, listen, mate, do you want to be a nipper? He said no. He said, fine, we won't do that. Took him back at age 11. He said, do you want to be a nipper? And he said yes. Now, that was when he was 11. He's now about 21, 22, and he's now leading 2 of the 3 legs in the Australian Ironman title.
And I believe his father got his bronze way back in the 30s.
That was his grandfather got his bronze in 1930. His father won the double ski race in 1960, and the fellow that's coming second, Kane Husner, 2 Mercers, 3 and 4, has also won a double ski. So unbelievable history.
Yeah, great pedigree. Right, here they come through now. So there's Darren Mercer still in touch at the moment. So they pour through. Darren Mercer picks up the board, has a look. He's nice and relaxed these days, Darren Mercer.
Steve Meredith.
And Nathan Meyer's in 5th, and he comes Hendy in 7th.
And so he's having fun. He's just having fun.
What a great swim.
Big smile on his face, the man. He can still get a break. Remember, if they get hammered on the bank, that's all he'll need, a sniff. And at the moment, it looks pretty calm, the ocean. But by the time you get from point A to B, it can change very, very quickly. We've seen the girls getting hammered with a lot of waves on the sandbank, and that really closed it up. There's Steve Pullen on the yellow board now. He makes his way out. Right beside him is Kane Husner. And down in the bottom India corner is Dean Mercer. He might have just got the alley here. He seems to have a good run. Big wave coming. Steve Pullen over. I think Mercer's going to get the run here. Have a look. He gets through the top of it. Another one coming. Stays on his feet. pushes hard, the little man up the top. He's out. He's in green water now. That could have been the difference. That could make or break it, but maybe he's got to go the long way to the can.
Yeah, again, this is all about the angles that you've taken. Pullen on the top of the screen, Mercer on the bottom of the screen, and Huster in the middle.
Well, Grant, we've seen Dean Mercer right on the corner. He got a good run out, but it's bumped him back into third.
Yeah, he's still in a solid position. I wouldn't be too worried about it. I mean, he's within touch. Steve Pullen does have the edge at this stage. He's probably about a half a board length ahead of Kane Huster. The angle might be a little bit deceiving, but certainly it's Huster and Pullen. No, that's right, Pullen about a half length in front. That's absolutely nothing. The only advantage really that Steve Pullen has at this stage is that he's on the inside for the turn. So as they round the cans, it will be Pullen, Huster, Dean Mercer, Darren Mercer. There's absolutely nothing in it. This race will be decided on the run home. This is going to be an absolutely tremendous finish to an Australian Championship.
No doubt about that, mate. It's been good, hasn't it? They've taken to each other and they've had 3 different leaders so far.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about it. I mean, I look at them now and I'd say, look, Dean Mercer might be in third position, but certainly with the experience that he's got, he might be the smaller of the 3 blokes out front, but he's the older and he's been around for a lot longer. He has a lot of experience. He's still pushing hard. He's now on the inside of Houston, so he's got a chance to jump him on this turn. So he's constantly manoeuvring himself into the best possible position.
Grant, between the 3 of them, who would you back on a run if they all get up together?
Mate, I'd say I would go with Steve Pullen, to be perfectly honest. It'll be a tough call between he and Kane. I think Dean, just if they have to do any weighting, the shorter legs of Dean Mercer will really work against him.
Okay, here we go into the run area now. It's Steve Pullen. He's opened up about a 3 board length gap now on Houston. Wave coming. Mercer's on it over the top. Houston's on it. They'll all get this. It's going to come down to what GK said. It's going to be a wave. Pullen and Mercer nearly came together. You're riding with them down at Curragh Beach. It doesn't get any better than that when you sit in your lounge room. Pullen's gone. He's suddenly gone. Just came off it. Well, he just disappeared. Now he's back on again. You saw him bolt out of the shot. Now he's there. They pick up the second run. Dean Mercer up on his knees. Now goes down on the belly.
Right, now it's time to angle your board. Get your board because you're on a wave. You're not going to go any faster. Line your board up and get set for the run. I'll back Pullen because he's got the longer legs and he'll wade out stronger.
All right, Pullen now. He's on the outside. You've got Dean Mercer on the inside. Pullen now psyching himself up the run. Dean Mercer starts to paddle down. Pullen's up and running. Dean Mercer's up and running now. The little legs start to go. Look at Pullen. Pullen goes. He gets the inside. It's Dean Mercer second and it's Houston third. Pullen's going to get it. Dean Mercer throws everything at him. We know how big his ticker is. Not big enough. Pullen gets it. He was the hot tip on the beach and he's got it. What a win for Stephen Pullen. That family will go berserk. Kane Houston, great third. Well, it came to a run and Grant Kenny picked it. He said, well, little Dino's legs might let him down on the edge.
I spoke to his parents last night, Jim and Bev, and I said, how would you feel if he wins? You know what they said? Relieved. It would be over. Here's Trevor into fourth and fifth. Nathan Meyer. Trevor into fourth. Nathan Meyer into fifth. Unbelievable effort.
Well, Stephen Pullen, he was the talk of the beach yesterday afternoon. He seemed to do it well this morning. Everyone was saying if there's a dark horse there, it's Stephen Pullen. What a win. And Dean Mercer, what a performance from him too. Okay, let's go down to Michael.
Thanks, Daryl. Well, elation, I can see it here right now. Steve, what a race. It just changed hands all of a sudden, and then you cracked that little wave. It was a run to the beach. It was just left to the last wire.
It was, what can I say? I got a medal like my dad now. That's all I wanted.
Well, tremendous pedigree. I understand that you're a champion on the double ski, and now father and son have done it brilliantly.
Taking a long while. 1971, mate. It's been a team effort for the last 10 years, since 11-year nipper.
Well, I tell you what, it's a family thing there with Steve, but also a family thing here with Dino. Dino, gutsy little effort. It could have been the carbos from the spaghetti I saw you eating last night, just didn't have the run home.
Yeah, I knew I had to get off first. Stephen having longer legs, I just give it everything I got. I come in after that ski leg, I had a bit of a lead and had a bit of a smile on my face. I was pretty happy where I was, and coming out of the swim leg, I felt so good. And going out in the board leg there, I knew Kane was certainly on the pace. He's a great competitor. And come down to that last wave, unfortunately, Steve had a little bit of a better line to the run to the flag, so deserving effort, fantastic effort, but also to Kane too, fabulous effort.
And Kane, I'll just grab you in here too. Well done, mate. It came down to the last 3. and it was a real effort to push onto that choppy little wave that you all fell off, but it was a real sprint to the last.
Yeah, halfway out on the board then, I've looked around, I've seen Dean behind me, Pullen was beside me, I knew there were the medals there, so coming in we've really tried to work each other, break it, we all end up on the same wave, and then we fell off the back of it, then we all end up on the same wave again and just run up the beach.
Well, this is a glamour event. It lived up to expectation, a fantastic national title.
Well, here we go. Here's this wave off the top now. As you see, Pullen is already on. Dean Mercer comes over the top in the blue board. Kane Houston just comes into shot now. Now, all of a sudden, Steve Pullen just disappeared. He was there for a moment and he shot up, and we thought he'd just lost control of the wave. Another run came up. Here's the run up the beach. Now you can see Pullen's length of his legs round the flag. He was never going to get beaten from there. Dean Mercer was never going to give up. He had to look where Houston was, but that was the gap from first to second. Great win, and there's a great story. His father's holding a green velvet box. And what that is, that's the box that his medal came in. They don't do that these days, so the father's going to put his medal into that box.
And ever since he joined the Nippers from age 11, he has been working to get that little green box. His dad kept saying, if you win, you'll get the green box. That's him earning it.
Great story, isn't it? Great story. Stephen Pullen, well, he gets the green velvet box to put the medal in, and the colour is gold. Alexandra Headlands first. Dean Mercer second from Thirroula, New South Wales. Kane Houston third place, Maroubra, New South Wales. Great race, great new champion.